this Spears mess. So apparently, Jamie Lynn Spears, who I think is about as slow as they come, all of a sudden decided to have herself an epiphany. And it's like, you know what? I'm actually unfollowing Kevin Federline after she taught so much ish about her damn sister and was shocked when his book came out that he included some of her personal text messages in the book. Because he did what he had to. He threw everybody under the bus and selling books. The book went triple plastic. It didn't even make the New York Times bestseller list because nobody cared. And people saw through his grift that he ain't nothing but a damn. Today's episode is brought to you by grifters because we've been talking about grifters throughout this whole damn show. So, um, Spears, who's 34, also stopped following Kevin Federline's wife, Victoria Prince, on the social media platform, that'd be Instagram. And this is according to Us Weekly. So now, in his book, which hit stores on Tuesday, October 21st, Federline, who's 47, shared two lengthy texts that he claimed Jamie Lynn had sent Prince, 42, that'd be the wife, about his two sons with ex-wife Britney Spears. Now, in response to Britney, 43, publicly lashing out at her kids, Sean Preston, now 20, and Jaden James, now 19, when they were still estranged, Jamie Lynn purportedly wrote, "Honestly, this makes me want to cry because I feel for those boys so much. I'm her little sister by 10 years, and I can't imagine what her actual children must feel like at times, but I am familiar with the feeling of being a dingy or being is it dingy or dingy? Being a dinghy, I think she meant dingy, trying to survive in a wave caused by another's ship. Feeling like you have to rescue yourself. I always wanted her to get better, especially for the boys." So I guess you're trying to say she a victim of circumstance because Britney was the bigger celebrity than she was, and you was basically trying to ride her coattails. Yeah, you got lucky with Zoe one-on-one, but quiet as it's kept. We didn't give a damn about you. I didn't care about her growing up. And we already heard the stories, according to Britney and her memoir, calling you a raging bitch, and all the things you allegedly was doing to her behind the scenes, and how you was a nightmare to not only her but the parents. Because you definitely give me Rhoda tease from the bad seed. You definitely give me like you was a bad seed behind the scenes. So I never particularly cared for Jamie Lynn. Jamie Lynn is like, she reminds me so much. Now I could definitely see why me and Brittany got stuff in common. We both don't like our younger siblings for reasons. What was the line that Joan Crawford gave to the children when she decided to cut them out of the will for reasons known to them? That's literally how I feel about this situation. And when dealing with people that's just like, mm-mm. Like, yeah, there's a reason why we don't like your ass. But now Jamie Lynn allegedly went on to admit that she has started to resent Britney for how she treated Preston and Jaden. I think you resented her also because she had the bigger career than you and she had more talent than you did. So you're not gonna sit up here and try to use her kids as a smokescreen for your own insecurities. Say, I'm still trying to come to terms with how she could be so unaware of anything outside of herself. Now, Federline claimed Jamie Lynn later sent Prince a second message that read in part, "I don't think there's enough money or material things in the world that would be enough to repay y'all." Federline and Prince for doing what Brittany, couldn't be bothered to do as a parent. And I'm sure my sister has never thanked y'all for raising her children. Well, my thing also is, how are you speaking on things you may not even be privy to? Like, are you even aware of what she may have gone through under that conservatorship and how much access she had to her children and whatever mental health situations that she had to undergo at the time when she was in the conservatorship, and possibly the what's the other word, the postpartum depression that she was dealing with, plus the stress of how the paparazzi was coming after her when she had just had the kids, and this was all at the height of her, excuse me, the height of her fame when she married him, and how Kevin Federline came across as nothing more than a goddamn opportunist. So there was a lot of factors that played into that. And maybe you were given different stories based off of what Kevin told you and what Kevin was telling the wife. And I'm sure that Kevin, even though we weren't thinking about it then because it wasn't coming out in the press, but now I think with this book and some of the other things, I'm thinking Kevin Federline was probably mentally abusing these children and turning them against their mother with some of the things that was being said or he was telling them at the time. But nobody truly knows what was going on between her and them kids accept what the boys was saying. So it's their word against their mothers and their mother's word against the boys, whatever the case is. And people not going to believe Kevin because Kevin's always come across as an opportunist. And so it's hard to know who to believe in throughout all of this. I don't know who to believe at this point. And Brittany, you ain't doing us no favors with all the crazy antics you doing, because we about to get into that foolishness in a second when I'm done with this story about how you out here driving your car and driving like a nut and the excuse you gave for it. So y'all already know they said Britney and Jamie's relationship has been rocky since at least 2019. Now the sisters first had a falling out over Britney's controversial 13-year-old conservatorship, which worsened when Jamie Lynn released a memoir, Things I Should Have Said, in 2022, just 2 months after a judge terminated the legal arrangement, saying, "As I was fighting the conservatorship and receiving a lot of press attention, she was writing a book capitalizing on it." Britney fumed in her own 2023 tell-all, The Woman in Me. She rushed out salacious stories about me, many of them hurtful and outrageous. And to me, if you're going to sit up here and try to pay profit off of my pain, ain't no coming back from that. Like, I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't want to reconcile with you. I don't want to be friends with you. Like, you are dead to me. Dead to me, dead to me. Like, you are literally, I'm done. Like, I can't be bothered with anybody that's gonna destroy, like, you risking my trust for what? Profit? It's like you did it, didn't work. Just made things worse. Kevin Federline did it, didn't work. Made things worse. Nobody bought the book. I don't even think Jamie Lynn's book did well. I need to find out what them numbers are for that. If y'all in the comments want to sit and do that research for me, because I'm busy doing a show, let me know in the comments. But a source exclusively told Us Weekly in September that Brittany and Jamie Lynn were doing a lot better and even plan on getting together soon. Well, child, after this mess, I think they're gonna be back to the way things were before. I think Brittany gonna be like, well, fuck that bitch. I don't want to be bothered with her. The girls decided to keep their problems out of the public eye, the source explained, with a second insider adding, they really love one another, but they could be hard-headed siblings. As for Brittany's parents, the first source shared that there is no chance of a reconciliation between the pop star and her father, Jamie Spears, who served as her conservator from 2008 to 2021, and Britney's relationship with her mother, Lynn Spears, remained fragile. Federline accused Britney of mistreating their sons on multiple occasions in his memoir, including allegedly that she once punched Preston in the face and told him that she wished him and Jaden were unalive. That ain't the word she used. She used the D word, according to him. Now, Brittany has blasted her ex husband for making profit off her pain, similar to her sister, with her spokesperson also previously told Page Six. He and others are profiting off her, the spokesperson told that Us regarding Federline's book. Sadly, it comes after the child support has ended with Kevin. All she cares about are her kids and their well-being during this sensationalism. Federline also told Extra that Preston and Jaden supported him writing the bombshell memoir, ripping the iconic pop star, saying, "My kids are old enough to understand and improve what I'm doing." Did you even ask them permission? So, what he's saying that they supported him. And I don't know any kid that would be like, "Oh, yeah, I want you to talk shit about my mother in a book." Like, unless your children are slow, like they daddy, I don't know anybody that'd be like, "Okay, I want my father, okay, I want you to literally say salacious things about my mother." Unless your mother is Joan Crawford. Then I can totally understand that. Say, I don't want my kids living their lives and having to explain who I am. I say that in the book. I don't want them talking about things that they didn't live through or can't remember. But you're willing to write it in a book so that way they can read it, things that they didn't live through or don't remember. So you're going to remind them by writing it in the book that you could profit off of because the child support payments have ended. Make that make sense. So Kevin just ain't bright. And I guess that's all I'm gonna say on that for now. But you don't get no brownie points either, Jamie Lynn, because um I definitely feel like you aren't that innocent in this whole situation regarding your sister. And you've said, I'm sure, probably worse things, but those were probably like and the PG thing. And I think what it was that she said the sister-in-law the text, and Kevin went and took the text and posted it in the book from his wife. And what else she gonna say? Because she been living the life of luxury off of Britney money too. You ain't no different than Kevin, the other Kevin Hunter, living off of Wendy Williams money. It's funny how, like, you know what, Wendy and Britney got a lot more in common than we realize. No good ass ex-husbands, and them trying to profit off the women that gave them some clout and fame. But anyway, let's move on to the next Britney story in this whole situation. And let's talk about this weird situation that's going on with her, where she was actually, they said she was driving her car erratically after she had left some restaurant called Red O in Thousand Oaks, California. And this is from last Thursday. So people was out here saying Britney was behind the wheel. She was driving erratically. She was, whatever. And Britney excused, I'm like, girl, really? This we need to file this under the file. Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. Because her excuse was she said it wasn't her. It was a lookalike. I would have taken it I would have rather you had said it was AI, because that's the excuse everybody uses now. Like if you would have been like, oh, it was AI, then I'd have been like, okay, I'm with you on that, even though I'm sorry on you and like, okay, girl, like we ain't buying what you selling. But if you at least went with AI, then I would have went along with it. But Lady Cray Cray had the nerve to say it wasn't her, it was a lookalike. And this is what she wrote on her Instagram, and made sure to disable the comments so y'all won't be like, okay, really, girl, it was you. So the Grammy winner drifted into a bike lane, crossed the road center divider, and made a tire screeching U-turn in the video. And this was the video obtained by Page Six. Spears did not specifically reference the video on her social media upload, which features a graphic of Minnie Mouse and Daisy Duck hugging. You know, she will always post some stuff that don't make no kind of damn sense. Now, in a subsequent post, the pop star wrote that she doesn't feel respected at all by the most unbelievably horrible things being said about her. Spears explained that she didn't feel inspired or motivated at all to show new art, but did share a throwback video of herself painting. The Crossroads star, who has comments turned off, as I stated, in her Instagram account, also modeled a pink bathing suit in an additional post. Excuse me. Now, the Daily Mail reports that the songwriter's family members fear she is losing control as her ex-husband, Kevin Federline, promotes his bombshell memoir, You Thought You Knew, about their time together. Saying, quote, there's a lot of concern. It's terrifying, a source told the outlet. There's a lot of talk about what to do, if anything. How can we protect her from herself? The insider claimed that Spears' loved ones are in crisis talks. Now, Spears has hit back at Federline's allegations, which range from cheating on him to doing booger sugar while breastfeeding their sons via Twitter. The constant gaslighting from my ex-husband, as y'all know, she said was extremely hurtful and exhausting, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And then a spokesperson, said that the former backup dancer's book is a means of profiting off his ex-wife's story. Well, duh, because who is out here really paying attention to Kevin Federline outside of him being in a relationship with Britney? Like, we don't know nothing about him. Nobody cares about Kevin Federline. His claim to fame was you were banging and then married one of the biggest pop stars at the time. That's your claim to fame. Like, I would understand if you would have probably been smarter like Sam Asghari and use your clout to go on a reality show like The Traitors or something. But no, I'd rather just go to the extreme and do a do a memoir. Which I heard word on the street is this man is $100 million in debt. And they gave him an advance. Hope it was worth it. They got to be a way for the book company to recoup that. They don't look like they are. So, Brittany, you know, the conservative, I've said this, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at this point. Um, I'm glad that she's not in that horrible conservatorship based off the things that she went through and what we know, because she said that it was way worse than what we're aware of. But there should have been some guardrails or something put in place where she's protected from herself. Like we've never seen her get to the point of like, okay, now she's behind the wheel of a vehicle. And ma'am, if you and driving crazy, because you could have put yourself or other people in harm's way, God forbid. And thank God nothing like that happened. But also, if you run around here recently in a recent post saying you got brain damage because of what you did or what you went through as part of the guardianship, isn't there laws against that? Like if you've been diagnosed, I don't know if this is a diagnosis or just something she posted on social media, but if you have issues with your brain and whatever, if you got cognitive issues, you should not be behind of a wheel of a car. You got enough money, you need to hire you a driver or whoever you got on your payroll drive you from point A to point B. You should not be getting behind the wheel because we've seen how you drive. I mean, and ma'am, you should have never been given a license, quiet as it's kept. So especially remember back in the day when she had one of the babies on her lap. And I get it, it's a southern thing. There's a lot of y'all that do that. But sis, when and the people in the South who drive with babies on their lap, they're not being followed and chased by paparazzi. So you on a whole different playing field. You're not in Louisiana. Like you're one of the biggest pop stars on the planet. So you should be using your money to have people drive you around because you're not in the headspace of doing that. Because I know people when you have seizures and things of that nature, you can't get behind the wheel and drive. So I don't believe that there was that was a lookalike. That was you. It was literally the car that left the place that you was at when you went to go eat, and then you left. So when they said you ordered alcohol too, so you probably had alcohol in your system while you was behind the wheel. That's drinking and driving. So Brittany, you got to be smart in what you're doing. So, but this is not going to be, this is not one of those shows that we just look the other way because of who people are. Like when people, like I said, with the whole Kevin Federline thing, yeah, I'm a windmill on his ass too because of what he's doing. Is exploiting his ex for profit. But when you out here doing dumb stuff too, you're gonna be called out. And nobody is safe on this show. There's no plot armor when it comes to these celebrities. As y'all know, even my faves and the people that I like still get, y'all get a lashing too. So, Brittany, let's be smart in what we're doing. Because if something bad happens, then what? You're going to be in the same boat as Brandy and Caitlyn Jenner. If you know, you know. So, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story, both stories, in regards to the whole Jamie Lynn thing and Kevin Federline and her unfollowing him? I'm like, she's slow too, because I'm like, I don't know why you surprised that Kevin Federline would pull the stunts that he do. He would throw anybody under the bus for his own personal gain. He's done it many a time. And I already said that we got to keep reiterating with this Maya Angelou quote. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. So there's gonna be an ongoing gag that we're gonna be using with the situation. So Kevin has showed who he is. So I don't know why that dingbat is surprised that he would throw her under the bus too, just so he can continue to add a little extra sensationalism to that tight ass book that none of y'all cared enough to buy. And that's why I shout out to all the bloggers in what was it, the Washington Post, whoever it was. Oh, I think it was the New York Times, actually. Washington Post, y'all can rot in hell. The New York Times was the one that came out and did that whole expert spilling all the tea from the book. They basically saved us a coin from having to go over there and paying for it. And then the latest with Britney talking about it wasn't her behind the wheel. It wasn't me. It went down in the garden. It wasn't me. I wasn't driving the Erratic. It wasn't me. So now let me know what y'all think of this story in the comments down below.